Welcome back to What Arty Noobs with General Disturbance. This is a 121B. It's a tier 10 Chinese medium tank. It's located on the north spawn of Erlenberg, and it's under the command of RNG's Toxis. And yes, we're continuing our coverage of RNG's games since yesterday was his birthday. Well, this is actually a tier 10 Chinese premium reward tank, because it used to be that 121 you could only get it if you actually managed to take part in clan wars and you were successful, because it's one of those tanks. But it's now actually in the collector's tab, so you can actually pick one up for 15,000 bonds. And the reason why it's so expensive is it's a very capable tank. In fact, it's got a very, very bouncy turret and a superb 105mm main gun, which is actually the L7A1, the British designed 105mm, capable of 390 alpha, and with standard APCR it will go through 261mm of armor, and with the heat rounds, which he's loading at this moment, as you can see, he's capable of 350mm pen. Now, he's in a tier 10 game, and there are tier 9 tanks in it as well. He's forward of his main group of teammates. It looks like the enemy's over the other side of the river, but he's actually now going to go into this little pocket where he can absolutely pump rounds into the enemy, and they did not expect him to be here. And remember, bouncy turret, so if the enemy does land a turret round on him, it's going to bounce off. In fact, he's already bounced one round from Emil 2, and the Emil's getting shredded here. Very fast fire rate as well, 5.89 seconds. The standard reload is 8.34. But look what he's doing to this Emil. And the guy put his gun down. I think he realizes it's all over, and that's the end of his game. Now, can we shoot through the gap? Yes, we can. And that E75 took a round for 356, which is a low roll. I think the enemy 268, which is behind us, has probably realized that he's got a job to do, because he's got to try and remove RNG. But he's not doing anything, and RNG is just going to exploit this position to the best of his ability, shooting through the windows to get the enemy tanks on the other side of the buildings. Okay, just holding on for a moment. He's gathering his thoughts. He's probably typing something in chat anyway, telling his teammates. Oh, yep, thank you. Conqueror tank moved up carelessly, didn't think about the windows. You have to think about those windows. You can shoot through them. Oh, the E75 knows about the windows, but it's too late, and he gets a high roll for 403. Hello. Oh, Crumbs, he put that one through the lower plate, I think it was. And now he's tracked him, and he's just going to go to town on him. He's puncturing him. 407 from that one, high roll. And again, it's a low roll this time, 381. The E75 can't go anywhere. And I think he's used this repair kit at last to get out of that clincher while he was still alive. But he's missing a huge amount of his hit points. In fact, now he's a one-shot. Oh, we took a round from the enemy there. That was careless. The M60 actually came up onto the castle grounds and was able to shoot at us through the gap. And he's just taken another round, but into the tracks from the 121B on the enemy team, who's way back behind us. Okay, I think we're unspotted now, so I don't think the enemy could attack us from this angle. The Superconk's pulled back. The enemy hasn't got that many tanks. Oh, we don't have that. That's the 268. Punches it straight through the frontal armor because he's using the heat rounds. And again, notice how he fires and pulls back behind the rubble before the enemy can respond. Oh, he saw something he didn't like. That's a Heshbon. The Heshbon's moving up. Can he get a shot? Not at the moment. Only the barrel of the Heshbon is visible. The reason he's worried about the Heshbon is, of course, the sheer amount of damage that guy can do with just one shot. Thank you very much. Punches one round through the armor of the turret. Now, he actually could have done that with standard ammo. The Heshbon's gone. He's now using the heat rounds to go through the Conqueror. He has to, of course, aim for that big commander's area at the back of the turret. I'd say it was a cupola. Oh, look at that! The Superconk is actually crossing the river to come up this side. And I think he's going to try and attack us from the rear. Goes for the engine bay. Tries to get a hit. 420. High roll. Super Conqueror now realizes he's going to be engaged. So he might as well put his front towards us. The enemy 268 is around the other side now. The Conqueror's gone. There's the 268 there. He's a 2-shot. We're looking at the Super Conq down the river. And we've pushed. Okay, this is where the Conqueror might try. Yes, he did try, but he failed. And the 268, we're going to come around the corner, punch one into his lower plate, and he's out the game. And that RNG's Toxis is his second kill of the game. Now, if you're wondering why the graphics in the corner looks a bit different, that's mainly down to the fact that we had to restart the game because at this time, Wargaming had problems with the sound, and if you wanted to get the sound, you had to restart. Now, the M60 managed to block that shot, all from a long way away. We're going to give it another go if we can. Thank you very much. Into the hull. Low roll 381. We do it again. Yes. Yes! But he got another low roll for 389. It's not a huge low roll. Tries to go for the polar, and in fact he does pen, but again another low roll 380. He's opening the angle. ST1 can't see us. Now he can. In fact, I'm not sure he can see us anyway because we're just too far away. I think that shell was a bad shell. Flew over the front. Well, one side. We're 3 up on the enemy at the moment, and he does have 20% of the enemy hit pool, so potentially he's on for a high caliber. RNG's having fun with this game, but he's working his rear off. Okay, top of the Super Conq, again, got that commander's area on the top, which is a weak spot there, you can see it. Didn't penetrate that time, didn't get it right. He's trying to use that wreck for cover as well. That time it did, and he's now 1 shot, and he goes! The Char Future 4 takes the Super Conq, and now the enemy are 4 tanks down. Now he's just waiting here for a moment to go unspotted. Now, as far as we know, there's no enemy on this side of the battlefield now anymore because our team have taken out the positions on the east side. So we're only shooting at enemy tanks which are over the far west side. SD1 takes the shell through the hull. 383, low roll. Go for it again. Takes out. That's the Guerrilla 15, one-shotting what's remaining of the ST1. Okay, so now it's a race to get over to the other side of the battlefield to collect what's left of the enemy. You can see that RNG's Toxis has so far collected 8,374 hit points, which is a huge total. He's almost guaranteed to get the high caliber as long as he doesn't shoot one of his own teammates or somebody else doesn't pump in rounds. Oh, one-shots the Char from what he could see. Okay, 121B. That's the guy who tried shooting at him and hit him in the tracks. He's got an equal tank, so let's see if he's capable. Well, that one went through for low roll. The 121 goes, the 103B goes. There's only 2 enemies left. Oh, when he took a round from a Skoda T50. Now, he's somewhere in that tree line. We can't see him, but the Char Future 4 is going in. And there is the GW Tiger. He goes down with 1 shot. And where is the one? There's the Skoda. 1 shot into him. He's still firing the premium. And the Skoda goes down. And that is the end of the game. RNG's Toxis has won. Here's the end of battle stats, and that was an ace tanker game for RNG's Toxis in the 121B. He managed to get a Bruiser medal for getting at least 5 critical hits. In fact, he got 8. A fighter badge for getting at least 4 kills. He got 4 exactly. A fire for effect for doing more damage to hit points to his own vehicle. He also picked up some other medals. He got the tanker sniper for getting the most damage at a distance 300 meters, as well as the Confederate for hitting more of the enemy than anyone else on his team. At least 6 tanks subsequently taken out by teammates, and he did get the high caliber in the end because he dealt the most damage in that game overall. In fact, he was very close to getting 10,000 hit points of damage. Let's have a look at team score. 9,406 hit points of damage from that game. It's a huge game on damage. Well, this is a good tank for doing that sort of thing because it is so difficult to penetrate that bouncy turret. As long as you stay hull down, you are very, very well protected from the enemy because that turret will just deflect the shells. The next highest player on damage was the Cranvon on his own team with 3,483, less than half the amount he managed to get. And the third highest damage in the game turned out to be the 121B on the enemy team with 2,389. Obviously, that guy has got a little practice to do to actually get up to the standard of RNG's Toxis. When it came to kills, he got that as well with 4 kills. 3 kills went to the Gorilla 15, 2 kills went to the Kunstpanzer, the VK4502B, and on the enemy team, their Supercult managed to. And when it came to base XP, he got that one too. So he's got the top in all 3 columns. 1,423 went to RNG's Toxis, 920 went to the VK4502B, and 888 went to the Type 61. He fired 35 rounds, got 32 direct hits on the enemy, 26 penetrations, damage of 9,406 hit points, of which 2,643 were at more than 300 meters. Received 7 hits from the enemy, only 3 of which actually penetrated. I think that M60 shot was a very sneaky one through the windows into him as he was changing position, or through the gaps. And 4 non-penetrations as well. Those are the shots that actually hit the turret and bounced off. 1,290 hit points of damage blocked by armor. 1 enemy vehicle spotted, 12 enemy vehicles damaged, 4 killed, and 1,083 hit points of damage assistance. Now, he only made a tiny profit in that game, only 130 credits, but that's down to the fact that he did use a lot of heat rounds. They are expensive, and there were some moments he could have switched to the standard APCR and it would have been effective, such as that shot on the Heshbon, because of course the shell would have gone straight through that turret armor, no problem whatsoever. In fact, anything will go through that turret armor. It's just almost paper thin. But the fact is that when you're in the heat of battle, sometimes you can't afford to sit around and wait for 5 seconds to change the shells, so you fire with what you've got, even if it is an expensive round. And of course, he did then, the next shell he fired did actually go into a heavily armed tank, so or heavily armored tank, I should say. So he did do the right thing to just keep going. But again, he's got a expensive consumables costs as well, so yes, he has to paying full price, and if of course he wasn't paying full price, he would have made more profit. Anyway, he also made a profit on XP, 2,242 out of that game, so tiny amount of credits and a nice amount of XP, but a very good game when it came to actually getting the medals. I'm sorry if the screen looked a bit cluttered with lots of records, and I had a lot of mods applied to my system back then in 2021. Yes, this is a game from November the 4th, 2021. Mostly down to the fact that I needed the information or wanted the information on what was going on. Obviously now, again, I realise that you don't need all that information. It is there on the screen, available, but it's much nicer to actually see what's going on in the battle. So apologies for the clutter. We will try to remove that on future videos. But I hope you enjoyed that replay. It just goes to show the 121B is one hell of a tank. It is basically the derivation of the Type 59, the premium Chinese Tier 8 medium. The 121s weren't put into production, but they were incredible tanks in terms of they were basically derived from the T-54, the original T-54, T-55s that the Russians came up with. The Chinese built their own version with the Type 59, then they improved upon it bit by bit. But the 121B, this is one of the top Chinese tanks in the game. It's definitely worth getting if you can get a hold of one, because you can see if you can get as good as RNG's Toxis, you can literally maul the enemy in a medium tank. This is the thing. This is a medium tank, and he's taking down heavy tanks all around him, but because he's got the skill to do it. The other 121B didn't really have the skill, and therefore he wasn't up to it. But RNG's Toxis had a great game. We've got more replays coming up from RNG Toxis. Hopefully, I'm going to try and get them all out today. If I can't, then I'll try and get them out tomorrow. So this weekend will have nothing but RNG Toxis games, and most of them won't be Arty because RNG likes to play tanks. So yes, do stick around on our channel if you want to see some really good play from 2021 and 2022. I hope you enjoyed that replay. If you did, please give this video a like. Do subscribe to our channel. Leave a little comment down below because it feeds the algorithm. And thank you for watching.